Well, welcome everybody. I know that over the next couple minutes, people will be trickling in and joining us for this webinar. I'm really excited to go over our apps dashboard today, as that's going to be our primary focus. My name is Daniel, and we'll do some introductions in a few minutes. But as you pop on in, if you want to throw in the chat where you're from and where you're from, what church in your name, that'd be great. Or your name will show up there anyways, so maybe don't stress that part. But just start throwing it in there. Looks like everyone's good at that, anyways. It looks like everyone was doing this beforehand, so good job, everybody. Anyone else? Minnesota. I got Charleston. Wow, everywhere. Rockville, St. Petersburg, Northern. Nice, sweet. There's people everywhere. This is the best part of working at Tithely is just literally everyone's from everywhere. And there's a couple churches near where I live that I've actually been able to meet up with and get like lunch at Panera. Like it's cool. Like we have our members are all over the place too. All of the people at Tithely, and so we could be everywhere too. So, um, Omaha, okay. All Peoples, Milwaukee. Is that All Peoples is actual town name? Oh, All Peoples. Okay, maybe. I don't know. That's cool. Hello from North Liberty. Awesome. Ohio. Great. All right. As you're all coming on in, we're going to do another warm up here. So we'll continue going with our presentation. Let me just jump right back over here and click over. So here's our team. We're the education team that puts on these webinars. And so my name is Daniel. I'm the education team lead. And they have Haley and Mariah, education specialists. And we all just take a lot of effort and time to make sure that you are informed and learn the best way to learn about our products and how to teach you and then teach your members how to use it as well. And so that's our team. We love hosting these webinars. We find they give us interaction with the customers and you guys are using the product, but also allows us to do a deeper teaching beyond just a knowledge article or even a quick video call or a message within our messaging system. Next element here, if you could put in the chat, just again, to get a little more chatty going here, what's one app you can't live without? And so I know there's probably a lot of them, right? Spotify's a must. Yeah, that's Spotify's the easy one to go to. So for me, as you guys are thinking about this and hopefully answering, I would say my fantasy football app called Sleeper. If anyone plays fantasy football, we all should say the Bible app, yeah. But I have a hard copy Bible, so that's good. The fantasy football app, because I just don't like logging into a computer browser, and I play fantasy football. So Google Keep, all right. People, what else? What's an app that you can't live without? Just give a couple more answers here, and let's see what people are thinking. There's 76 of us in here today, so that is encouraging. Telegram. I don't know Telegram. Okay, I'm gonna have to look that one up. But you can keep answering if you want. Otherwise, we're gonna move on in a second here. Sleeper. Yes. Okay. Thank you, Willie. I appreciate that, Pastor Willie. I got someone backing me up. I may be a little bit in trouble myself as I have more than one fantasy football team, but I'm glad that you're 7-0. Let's see. Apple Music, weather. Telegram is an international chat app. Okay, awesome. That's really helpful. Canva, yeah, I know. Come on. If you haven't used Canva and you do something creative, it's amazing. Chick-fil-A, Amazon. All right, cool, guys. I appreciate you sharing all this. Daily prayer. Yeah, there's a lot of great prayer apps out there. I do appreciate those as well. There's one called Echo that I've used in the past as well that you can like share prayers that you have and other people can look into them. But let's continue going on here in our presentation because we want to talk about apps. One thing to note, if you have a question during this webinar, please do not put it in the chat because it most likely will not be seen. There is a question and answer bubble that you can press. And when you click that, you can type your question into there. And actually, we have a Haley, one of the people that is with me and my team, is in the back end here looking to answer your questions and helping you guys understand what you're asking. So you'll submit it, we'll respond and go from there. At the end of this whole presentation, we'll have a Q&A spot where we'll all be looking at the questions, just trying to answer them and making sure everyone gets what they want. And so again, if you got a question, Q&A bubble, click that, put it inside there. That'll be the best approach to go from there. Let's keep going. Okay, product suite. We love to show this off. We have a whole gamut of product suite. So if you're only using our apps and you're coming here today, don't forget we have online giving, which is a great product. We have a website builder. We have a church management software or CHMS, which is called People, and it's got a lot of great products in it. We also have a brand new product that has been teamed up with us called Ministry Safe. So that does background checks and ministry training. If you have not used that product yet, I want to encourage you, go in there and check out the Ministry Safe product. It is excellent. And every church does background checks. Every church needs training on how to help our members and our staff and our leaders be able to handle an array of situations that are very important to handle honestly and truthfully and in the best way possible. And so keep working our product line. We have great products and we are proud of them. We want to make sure that your churches are served in the best way possible. Okay, so today, apps overview. We're not covering a lot of other areas, we're just covering apps. And so we're going to jump into the dashboard of the apps and kind of go through almost all of it and really give you an insight to how things work, where things connect, and just the best way to go about using it. I'll throw in some best practice ideas in there as well because I've been doing this for a while. Actually, fun note here, I was on the onboarding team for 4 years at Tithely, so I did this every day for 4 years, and I have been off that team for, well, I think since March. And so it's been a while since I've actually done a presentation on apps. So this will be fun. It's an experience I haven't done in a while, and you guys are coming in listening to this webinar. So hopefully I don't miss something. If I do, I'm sure we'll get some good questions about that and go from there. But I'm excited to show this to you anyway. So first area to cover is the apps dashboard. I'm going to just pop this up on screen. Boom. I'm going to take myself off screen so you don't look at me, but you actually look at the product. So this is the apps dashboard. If you have signed up for apps and you have built an app, now that's a key important rule there. If you click apps and you don't see this, but you see build an app, you'll use your website if you want, or you can use a form and you'll get your app built. If you use the website, it's built in like 30 seconds to 5 minutes, depending on how much is on your website. It's an excellent product. Does a great job. And you guys will appreciate that going that. If you don't feel great about using your website to build an app, there's a form you can fill out, and that form will collect a bunch of data information, and we'll build your app from there. But our process is very simple. We try to make it easy for you to get your app started. But once your app is built, you're going to jump right into here, and you're going to see this app dashboard. And depending on what products you have, you'll see those other products on the side as well. And then the app dashboard has a tab called dashboard. So we should just call this the apps page. I don't know, but app dashboard, dashboard tab. You know what I'm saying? When you first pop in, you click dashboard here. This has some great general information that will help you understand at a top end view, like what's going on in your app. First of all, how many people are in there for users, iOS or Android? And you can sort this by all time for now. That's eventually supposed to change, but it hasn't changed yet. The other thing you could do is you could see recent activity. This is all the stuff that is being streamed into your app. So if you have a worship service event, or you have a video, or you have some kind of picture you've uploaded, it's going to start popping in this recent activity, and you can see, what are my people seeing? A push notification, right? And you can sort this by the different items that you'd like to show as well. So if you want to see all the notifications that have gone out, or you want to see all the blogs, that'll show that as well. Quick actions. It's imagine just exactly what you think it's going to be. It's the top 4 things that we have found that you guys click when you jump into the dashboard. So we thought, let's put it in 2 spots so it's easier to find and grab. And so new notification, tabs, layout editor, sermon note, all of those are over here. They're just right here on the front of the page. You can grab it quickly. And the same thing down here. These are the top 5 help articles that we have found you guys were clicking on, or people that are using the app have been clicking on. And so right here, you can see that. And so those are helpful. And you also can click this link. It'll pop you up to more of our other help articles as well. So you get the full array of how everything works with our help articles, because they are very detailed, and our team takes pride in building them to be effective and useful for you. And so please use them. That is our dashboard. I think the next part there, I'm just going to keep going. We have a slideshow. I might go back and forth to it, but I don't want to kind of take time going to the slideshow and back out of the slideshow. So I'm just going to jump to the next topic here, which is settings. Settings is going to look a little different for me from you, because I do have a admin function here. But in general, your settings is what's going to be your name, your welcome message, contact information, your church address. Please don't worry about app online status and miscellaneous. Those things aren't currently working or doing much for you yet, but at some point they will do more. And from there, what's great about this settings function, or this where you see your address and church name, is this is where the About Us tab gets its information from. So just so you can understand, when you go in there and look in the About Us tab on your app, you're wondering, where's the church name or where's that welcome message? It's right here. And so you can use that for sure. The next thing to note is giving. Now, giving, if you're using our giving product, it's automatically putting your link in there. So don't stress it. It's in there. It's ready for you to use. And it'll just automatically sync in with the link, with the tab that we have for giving. So you don't have to stress that too. Give me 1 second. Okay, cool. We're going to keep going here. Giving. So like I said, the giving, you can also come in here. I didn't realize I didn't click on it. You can choose to have the floating button and what URL you want it to go to. So if you were using our giving and you create a direct link, you can map that direct link into here instead of just using the generic link if you want it to go to something special as well. But tabs. So tabs is kind of the fun part that we want to go over and really make sure everyone gets a good feel for that. Let me add this up to stage. So the tabs here, we're just going to go to the next slide. as I showed you, tabs. So tabs is the primary navigation within the app, right? And so when you're in there, you're going to want to make sure your tabs are laid out in the best way possible. So the most important information is easily accessible. You can add a more tabs area, which gives you access to a bunch of other ones. And then there's a lot of addable and customization of different secondary tabs as you choose to add them. And so let's keep going on here. I'm going to drop back up into our demo. So in our demo, I click into tabs. And many of you, if you've gone into apps at all yet, you'll see this right here. First thing to note, the home page of your app or your app at all times down the bottom will have 5 tabs down the bottom. Those 5 are what is under this main tab section. So whatever you have here, those 5, that's what shows up at the bottom of your app. Always important to note that. The 5th one will always be a more button, unless, little tip here, you only have 5 tabs. So if you come down here and hide the rest of these, so there's only 5 total, more will disappear, the more tab will disappear, and that 5th tab will pop up for you. And so just get an idea, if you want to have no more menu, you have to get rid of all of the other tabs except for 5 of them. But if not, otherwise, everything gets dropped down into more tabs. And how they access more tabs is by clicking the more tab hamburger button. And that'll drop down, and everything you see lit up are the ones that are active. And all the ones you see grayed out are the ones that are not seen, but still accessible via linking to them or mapping to them in other ways in the product. I'll go back up here and show you. You can drag and drop, which is really great. So say I want photos not to be next to home. I can swap places with prayer wall and photos just by grabbing this and dragging and dropping it. It gives you an opportunity to kind of manipulate it to make it in the order you want. Like I said, you want your app to be something that people pop into and they see what you need them to see and access what you need them to access. A little best practice tip here too. A lot of times at Tithely here, we push churches and people that use our apps and sites to realize that apps is a great product for your members, people that are part of your church or come actively, to give them that kind of access, where sites is a great place to build out the visitors and the people that are coming to check out your church for the first time online. Obviously, both can use both, but you want to build your app in a lot of ways for your membership, the people that are going to be in there every day with you, because those are the people that are more likely to use and download your app. Not saying don't have visitor-friendly stuff on there, but just keep that in mind. That's kind of the objective goal. Another thing to go through, if you click on any one of these tabs, it's going to open up and give you a couple different options. So for example, the home page, right? So I can change the icon. It's great as we have a whole bunch of icons. I mean, it scrolls for a while. You can find an icon and that'll use to be important in indicating what this tab actually does there. Next thing is you could change the name and you could change the long name. So the name is what's going to show up on your tab screen on your home page down the bottom. The long name is what's going to show up in the more menu when you open up that and you have a tab in the more menu, because that's what helps it go longer there. And so just letting you know about that. You also can hide in more menu. So when you do this, that takes it off and it's no longer hidden. I mean, it's no longer showing up. And then finally, you can click in and edit from here to the layout that you're currently working on, so you can access that and make the change you need to. Finally, don't forget, hit save. If you don't hit save, you X out, it's not going to save it, and you're not going to have the work that you've changed, which, I know how many of us have worked on something, didn't hit save, and then you're like, and you got to go back in and do it again. So just keep that in mind. The other thing to note here is this little highlighted area here, page layout, prayer wall, photos, app page. This shows you where this data is coming from. So like, where is this about us coming from? That's coming from a app page that was built. Photos, prayer wall. And this is a home page or a page layout. It's coming from the layout editor. And so you can see that kind of stuff. You also on the far right can delete something. What's great about deleting something here is if I chose to delete prayer wall, it would drop down the bottom and go down to addable tabs down the very bottom and sit here nice and neat like and not go anywhere. The only thing that you can permanently delete from this tabs menu, and this is important, is a web link. And a web link is a really cool special part of this. So what a web link is, if I hit plus, comes up here, I can map this to anything. So we can call this Bible, right? Bible Gateway or something like that. And so, Bible Gate, it's only a certain amount of letters. So Bible Gate, and I can put Bible Gateway here, and I can go over to a web page, take John 1:1 if I want, which is usually where I think Bible Gateway starts off on by default, put that link right here. And every time someone clicks that web link, it would just go to wherever you linked in that URL. So this lets you go anywhere and map your members out of your app to anywhere you want them to go. So if you have an affiliate website, if you're part of a large group of churches and you want people to see that, you can just map to that using a web link. Give it a name, give it an icon, choose to hide it or not hide it, and then come down here and hit save. Another option here, by the way, I almost skipped this, open an external browser. This, if you click this off, when they click that tab, it's going to open up in their app browser, their web browser on their phone. If you don't click this, it should open up within the app itself. One caveat, if there's any paywall or login wall, it will not map out inside the app. It'll always have to go outside the app. That's a function of Apple and Google stores, not ours. It's a security measure. But either way, create your web link, and then I'm going to hit save. And now you can see it's changed it to Bible Gate. If I had actually put the URL in there, it would be accessible, but it's not. Here's the catch I wanted to show you. If you ever delete a web link from this page like this and hit OK, and then it comes down here, and if I go up and hit save to save every the work I've done, that web link has disappeared. Well, okay, maybe not. It's supposed to disappear. Have they updated this? Okay, well, I believe it's supposed to disappear. Maybe my screen isn't updating yet. I am not going to do anything here, but I think it'll go away eventually. It might just take some time because in the past I've had that experience, but we'll see what happens. Either way, that is your tabs. Oh, it's gone now. Perfect. So it did disappear. So it does disappear permanently. I wasn't wrong. It just took a couple seconds. I apologize about that. So that is tabs. Go in here, play with them, move them around, have a lot of fun, put things where you want to put them. It's going to be very important for your church members to kind of access what you want to access. One actually last thing I wanted to show you is there is a, maybe it's not in. Okay, here, perfect. So you can come in and change some of these. So for example, I clicked events. When you click into events, you actually come in and choose how the events show up. And you also can choose the ratio of that grid. And you can also choose the thumbnails if you want and add a banner image. So there's a lot of other functionality you can do within this. And so just keep that in mind. Click the different tabs and you can see there's different ways that you can alter or change it to make it work the way you want it to work. But that is our tabs function. Okay, so the next thing we're supposed to cover today, let's go back in, add to stage. That's our tabs. The next thing we're going to cover after that is app pages. Okay, so app pages is really helpful. What app pages do for you is you can make mini web pages, basically. Imagine that inside your app. You can control where they show up, whether you map them to a direct layout page or if you add them as a tab, and you also can link to them as well. And so there's a lot of great ways to use these app pages, and there's a lot of great features inside of the app page that you can edit and update. So let me show you that right now. Let's go back to our demo. Within the demo, obviously come down here, click app pages. So like I said, it's very simple. It's not designed to be overly complex, but it's designed to give you some opportunities to build what you want. For example, a basic page, but I'm just going to create a new one. So if I hit add new, jump in, I give it a title. We'll call this webinar. There's already a webinar one on down there, but webinar Tithely. I didn't capitalize T, so go back and edit that. You can give a description. That's just for you. Keywords, that's just for you. And then down here. So there's two ways to build these app pages. The first thing is over here, we have a bunch of pre-built functions with pictures, with different linking options, with different images and icons. So you can come down, scroll down and find one like this one here, drag it over. And now I have these green tomatoes that have not ripened yet. And we have some text that's just built into it. And you can see there's some other links down here. So you can do something like that. And that just lets you grab it. And then I could go in, click on the image. I can remap the image. I can move it around. I could come in here and change the text. Say, I don't want to spell it that way. Whatever you want to do, you can kind of use these to build what you'd like. Come down here to the icon and I could choose where that goes, where it doesn't go. So it just gives you a bunch of different options. But another great function is there's just a generic where you can build what you want to build function. Down here, the little plus, add. When I click that, it gives me a whole bunch of options to add in what I want to add in, a heading, if I want to add a map, if I want to add an icon, a video, YouTube. So there's a lot of great elements. One of my most favorite ones, though, is an HTML function right here. If I click this, come down here, and if I click into this and go to settings, it's going to pull up just an HTML little box here. And from here, you can actually add in any embedded code that you can find. So if you're on YouTube and you want to grab a video, you can actually grab the HTML code and embed it right here. Or if you're using our people, our CHMS, and you grab your calendar, you can embed your calendar right here. So anything as HTML function, you can come in and play with it and embed it right in this page. So you create an app page, then embed something in it, and it gives you access to whatever you can access from there. And so you can think very creatively from out this. It's really helpful. Again, back over here, I'll show you real quickly before I jump off this. On the default, if you're looking for a specific function, for example, like a call to action, that way you're not scrolling forever down all of the call to action. So it'll give you what you want there. So really helpful. And then once it's made and you got everything done you want it done, hit create. It's going to make it. And then app page saved successfully. Please note the hitbox, get out of here, the little X up here. Click this. and then come back over and there's webinar Tithely. That's my app page. It's created. What this has done now as well is added it as a tab for me automatically. So when I go into tabs, scroll down, webinar Tithe. So you can see it right here. It says it's an app page. This is not accessible by anybody yet, but what I can do is hit the plus, and if I hit save now that new app page is in my more menu sitting right here, and then say, oh, well, actually what I want to do is add it to my home page. Well, I'm going to grab it or add it to the bottom of my app. I'm going to drag it up here and bring it to the top, and I'm going to swap out the About Us because I feel like this is more of an About Us page I want. So I pop it there. You notice About Us drop down. I hit save, and now that brand new app page, whatever's linked to it, shows up right there for me to be able to see, or any of my members to be able to get in and use. And so I think that's a really helpful resource there. And that's app pages. And again, you can make as many as you want. If you're done using it, please note, if you come here and delete it from here, it's going to hit OK. It's going to drop back down. When I hit save, it's going to bring up the last item that was there, replace it with About Us. It's going to come down here and it's going to sit here. It's never going to be deleted. If you want to get rid of some of these addable tabs because they're getting so many of them, go back to the place you built it. That's app pages. Come here, hit delete. It will delete it and it will disappear from the tabs page as well. And so just keep in mind, there's removing it and there's deleting it. Those are two different things as you go through this. But let's continue on our journey here. I'm going to bring back up the slide deck here. So app pages, like I said, have fun, build those out, go with that. And then we go to the next thing, layout editor. So now layout editor is a product that's relatively new. I believe it was built like a year ago, maybe a little bit longer. It's hard to remember. I was onboarding for so long. The layout editor is a great product. It lets you build out your home page. So that little home area, it lets you change out the images. It lets you change the links. What's really cool is you can build several layouts and have them be all over your app. So you can have more than one layout to build out and then have people be able to see that. How you could use that would be, say you have a layout for your home church, the base of your church, but then you want a youth and family one. You could build a layout for youth and family and have that linked off the primary layout. So they have their own little base camp to go into. Or maybe there's a singles ministry, or there's a marriage ministry, whatever it could be, a sports ministry. It could be so many different things you're doing. And so layouts give you a whole lot of options that give you a lot of ability to create the app that you want to create. So let's get over there and demo layout editor, because I really do think this is a great product. So you jump in. First thing to note, your active layout. I wanted to show this. That's right here. So this is where you want to put your active layout. If you ever want to swap your layout, we'll talk about that as well. Go in the layout editor. Number one rule, always, 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 if you're going to edit your home layout, the one that is currently active, you're going to edit that, and it's not just a text edit, it's something significant. Make a duplicate. That's why this button's so big. The reason we tell you to make a duplicate is if I make a duplicate here, right? I have duplicate home. If I go into home right now and I make a major change and hit save, there's no undo button. You can reach out to support. We can't undo it. So whatever you have done is a permanent change. So if you made a duplicate, then you are safe because you made a mistake. You just go back to the other one. What's great is once you're ready to swap those out. So I've made my home page, I've built it out, and then I made a duplicate because I want to make some major changes. And now I want to make this one live. What's great is every time you make a new layout, as we've gone to tabs a bunch of times, it shows up down here, duplicate right here. So here's your page layout. I didn't change the name, so it'd be easier to find if I change the name. And when I want to put this as the home page, I drag it up here and put it all the way at the top. I'm not going to actually fully do this, but if I bring it all the way to the top up here, and I take it, bring this up here, I don't want to use this one anymore. I can hit the trash barrel, put that down. That's going to move the home page down the bottom way down here, and it's going to replace it with the new one I just built. And so just in the future thought, it's super easy to swap it out. Go ahead and just make a duplicate, make the changes, and then go from there. And it'll even give you kind of like a step of all the changes you've made throughout it. So that's number one important thing to do, is always make a duplicate. Next thing to note, if you already have a pre-built layout, and I'm going to go in here and show what I mean. I go into home, and you go into settings, and you click over here to layout type, and you see this is a featured content. If you ever want to change it to a different one of these layouts and you've made a bunch of changes, another best practice is to always build a new layout. Don't just edit the one you've already made. Because a lot of times as you make changes to this, when you click into a different one, say I click into stacked, it's not going to transfer over well. It's going to look ugly, and you're going to spend more time trying to edit it than you are if you started with a brand new one and built it from scratch. And so we always suggest that when you click in and change it, like some of this is okay, but some of these won't work very well and it'll look kind of iffy. And so you want to just kind of go ahead and build a new one. Now, Again, that's the best practice. You don't have to listen to that. By all means, edit the one you want to edit. But that's what I always suggest is if you're in a specific layout, always create a new one. And how you create a new one, if I close this out, is right here, add new. And so, yeah, I want to build a new one from scratch. Click here. It'll give you all the basic stuff there. If you want to work on one you've already built and you can do major changes and it's live, create a duplicate. But let's jump in. So first thing to note, when you go over to settings up here in the top left corner, here's your layout. There's a global styles. What's great about global styles is this will be something that will override everywhere else. So it's going to be the base style for everything. So if I want my background color to be a bright red, that's going to be on the whole app. It's always going to be bright red background color, right? So super easy there. Layout settings as well down here. This is where you change the layout name, where you change the background screen color. Now that is a little bit different. That's what shows up behind everything. So when you see when I highlight it, a little gray circle is kind of showing up behind there. That's what's changing that color there. And so you can kind of get an idea of what the two features are. A last thing, floating give button, yes or no. That's if you want the floating give button on there. That's your choice. It's just easier to click giving if you're using it. And so we always show that there. So that's your kind of base settings. One thing I will say, if you change your layout type, let's go to list with buttons. I know I didn't make a copy of it. And you come down here, your global styles will have different things. And so depending on the layout, you will have different global styles. In this case, this text size changes because the text is important there. The text color can change. You can kind of play around with the colors, the opacity or opacity, however you want to say that word, bold, light, medium, left adjacent, right adjacent. So depending on what you pick, it's going to have different functions there. So if you see a church has done a bunch of different things, or you see in a support article a certain feature, like I don't see that on mine, it might just be you might have to change your layout on there to make it different. And so that's under settings there. Those are the two primary elements you're going to see when you're working on the settings function. The last thing to note is this cool switch to advanced developer version. I'll just give you a warning here. Don't play with this unless you know how to play with this, because this is all script as well. Are you sure you're ready to switch to advanced version? Come in here, because there is some really cool stuff that you can change in here and manipulate. And there's a lot of cool stuff you can mess up and your app will not look the same. And so if you are playing with this, definitely make a duplicate. Have fun, but just realize it's really easy to mess up if it's not something you're familiar with. So I'm going to back out of there. But that's what that little advanced developer section is there. Now, next thing to cover is content. So content is what is on your homepage. Ooh, I should actually go back to layout, because let's just go back in and click in. Actually, I'll do duplicate home. That way I can mess with it and not worry about the other one. So content. Right here, you can see your banner. There's no banner actually showing up in this one. So it's hidden. If I turn it on, it would create a banner, and then I can add what I want and turn it off. But all of these little buttons will map to what's showing up on your homepage. So what's really cool is if I highlight it here, notes, you'll see over here, notes is highlighted. So the two sections that you're working on, you could see where they are and understand what you're clicking on to edit. Another thing is you can delete. Careful with that one, because that will actually delete that off the page. Now, if you don't hit publish, you can always back out and come back in, but that's important to note. Then you click in and you can play with it. So for example, I want to play with this notes tab. So I click in, it opens up. It's showing me that it's pulling from a different area. There's no media added. I can delete the image. You can come in, add from media, and add a new picture. And let's add a Tithely picture. Hit save and close. It swapped out the picture that was there. And you can see right here, this isn't actually active right now, so it's not showing exactly what it should be showing. But I'm going to move to a different tab. But as you build it out, you can play with this. The other thing you can do is you can link this to where you want to link it. And so right here, link to feed. So other area or sermon series. So this is supposed to link to the sermons, I would believe. So I'm going to click sermon series. And what that does now, there's no sermon series defined on the church. That means there hasn't been a sermon added in. So it's not finding it. So just keep that in mind. If you're not finding something, it means you need to go over here and build it a little bit later. I can show you that at another point. But other area there, I can also click other area and come over here to choose area and pick where I want to pull from. For in this case, since it's called notes, I'm going to click sermon notes. So now what it's going to do is actually going to pull whatever sermon notes have been uploaded over here in the sermon notes area. It's going to pull this feed right in, and you can see I have the feed right there. Now, can I scroll over? Let's forget how to scroll. Oh, there we go. Scroll up, you can see there's two sermon notes. So basically what I did is I turned this notes function into where my sermon notes are showing up. And if I want to add more in there, I go to sermon notes, add some in, and it will pull it in automatically. And you could do this for all of these little slide card elements. Events, same thing. Come in. If it's not mapped to the right area, I choose area, I grab events. And now any event that I've put into the system will now show up here. And I can go through and see those events. And so that's what this layout kind of works. So you'll have to play with some of the content. And again, as I've said before, depending on which layout you have, it's going to have different content. So like mine looks different. That's because this is which layout we call this the featured content layout. If I come over and pick square layout and choose that one, you can see it looks a little weird. Go into content. Now it's going to be a little bit different over here. When I click events, it's just going to be mapped to that area, and they're going to click on that and it'll open up instead of being a scrolling function, because these are the blocks instead of the primary one that we were using before. So just, play with that a little bit. Last thing I want to show you here, you can see the view. Now, this should be pretty accurate. So like 16 plus, if I want to see what this looks like on a 16 plus, if I want to see what this looks like on an Android Galaxy S23, you can kind of get a feel for what your people are going to see as they're looking at the app. And so that really helps give you some reality into what's actually being shown. Last thing down the bottom here, there's an advanced features in a lot of these. When you open this up, some have advanced features, some don't. This one does not. I'm going to close out because I've made a bunch of changes. Go back into duplicate home, go to content here. This one doesn't have an advanced features, but the other ones do. And so just keep that in mind. If you see that, it's just going to give you individual options that you can update and edit as you go along as well. Another thing to note is the add items. This is a little interesting to me. Every time you click add items, this is going to pop up for you. At this point, that's just the way our product is, but we really want to make sure you understand how it works. So it's a drag and drop function. When I click got it right here. So now I'm inside my app here. I want to add in a new area. So let's go. I want to add in a new scroll horizontal, which is this right here, the ones that scroll from side to side. Or if I want to add a vertical scroll, or if I just want to add a generic card. So I'm going to drag this up, put it in here. It's going to add a card. And so now it's there. It's got a generic image. And what I do is I can just click on it. It loads up. It lets me give the title, lets me add the text I want on the bottom, open advanced features. It lets me change the colors of stuff. And I go back to, it lets me update the image. So say I want to add in, let's add in the donuts image. Can't go wrong with donuts. Save and close. So donuts are now there. And then I can link this to wherever I want. So say we talked about this before. Say I made an app page I really, really, really like. So let's go down to, where's the app page? Is there? Other area item, other area. There we go. Click other area, choose area. I could come down and find that app page I made, app page right here, apps webinar. Click that. And now what's going to happen is this button I just added into my homepage is going to map right on over to that app page I built. So say that was my calendar, or say that's a video from the minister that you want everyone to see. You could put that right on the homepage, map to it right on the homepage there, and you'll be able to see that. And everyone that pops into the app will have that first thing showing up. And so there's a lot of great things you can do with the layout editor. My most favorite one I mentioned before. So say right here, we said you have like a teen area or you have a youth and family area and you want to link to that. You can actually put a card in, come here, choose area, and that, where's that layout I made? That layout I made before, page layout duplicate right here. If that was like my youth and family area, what I could do is click that. And now every time someone comes in, you could title this youth and family. They'll go into that layout you made for youth and family. So you can make a layout for each group and then map to it off your homepage. So there's a lot of great functions that give you a lot of ability to kind of drill down. And so that's always a fun thing there. I do have a question that popped here for a second. It says, please review this. We will have a newsletter via Constant Contact. What will be the best method to have our newsletter on our church app? Okay, so I am not hyper familiar with Constant Contact, so I will say I'm not 100% sure. If there's any kind of embed code within Constant Contact, you can drill it out. You can link it into there in the HTML as I showed before, or if you just link to it. So you can just create a web link and have people go over to that to sign up. Those are kind of the two best options. Short of that, we don't have any kind of integration with it. So there's nothing that's going to be directly implemented into the app. So we'll say be creative with web links or be creative with app pages and kind of find a way to get your members over to there. So if there's like a sign up form and you can embed it in your app, right? Or if there's a link over to it, put the link in your app and then people can access over to that. And that would be for almost anything that you want to give access to. If there's any third-party software you use outside of the Tithely universe that you want to link into, feel free to build an app page for it or web link to it and let people get access to it that way. That'll be the simplest thing you can do. You can also kind of, if you find a better way, reach out and let us know because we want to know how that works too. But so this is our layout page here. Editor there, add items again. So you can drop items, bring them over. Content is where you edit what's on there currently. And settings is where you can change the functions of what's on the outside of it, which layout, the global styles, and the settings itself. But our layout editor is excellent. And we do think it's one of the best products to use within the app to make your app accessible, warm and welcoming and have a lot of fun with it. I will give you another best practice that I don't suggest you do. It's a lot of work, but if you have the people to do it, you could try it. I knew a church I onboarded, and they used a different layout every month. They wanted their app to be so fresh that they literally had like 12 of these for the month there, and so it was pretty cool. Can I show a live demo of linking up public link idea, adding a public link for anything that's not included in the app? Okay, so for example, let's come over here. So let's go to Bible Gateway, right? Go to Bible Gateway. So I showed this before. Come over here and say I want to map to this. So say this is where your URL goes to constant contact, right? So I take the Bible Gateway, and what I can do is come here and go to book list and go to Exodus. Say I want them to start on Exodus 1. What's great is it actually updates the link up here for you to fit to that. So I now copy this link, control copy, and then I go back to Tithely dashboard and I go to tabs. And I come down over here. This is one way you could do it. I can do it addable tabs. I could do a web link, hit the plus button. The web link is here. When I open it up, I take that URL that I grabbed, put it there, the Bible Gateway one, type, it's a web page, and I can give it a name called Bible, right? We'll just call it Bible. Oops. And the long name, whatever I want to be, override all this stuff. I can go through, hit save. Now on my home, on my more menu, this will map to that specific web link that I put up from Bible Gateway. So that's one adjustment you can make. Another thing you can do, you could take that same link, which is saved in the layout editor, come on in here to duplicate home. Let's go down to that. Did I actually save it? I did. That card I added in here, where is it? It's right here. Oh, I never saved it after I did that. So the card I added in before, if you click into it, you can come down to link to, and what you can do is you can go to, where is it? Web page. Boom. So here's the web page. I come in here, I copy in that web page. And now if I hit save, open external, I want it to open internally. So it looks like it's in the app. I'll come up here and hit, where's the save function? I guess there's no save function here. Up here to publish. If I publish that right there, now what happens when I go into that duplicate home, or anytime someone opens my app, if they click this card right here, that will go to that Bible Gateway page that I linked it to. And so that's kind of two best ways to link in, is using a card on your layout, or using a web link and mapping it right there. So either one will work. You also, a third level, now that you're getting me going deeper into this, I want to make sure we're getting enough time for questions here. You could come to app pages, open an app page that we made here, and you can map it right inside here. So if I come in here, highlight an area, over here there's a hyperlink, and I could put this link right there. So now that will link forever to that Bible Gateway Exodus chapter 1 page. So 3 places you can link into on your app that help people kind of get access to what you have outside of your app. I hope that helps. I'm going to keep going here. I want to cover a couple more things. There's a whole bunch of other things here we're going to go through relatively quickly because I just want to give you a quick review of them, but I'm excited about them. So sermon notes, definitely check out our knowledge base article on that one, our help center. They're great because you can go in here and you can do a lot of notes, and you can link this to something within the layout page. You can also link it to a live stream. And so whenever if you have a live stream going, you can link a sermon notes to it, and people can see your notes that are supposed to be presented, or they can type in their own notes on their phone in the app and have access to what they've saved from there. Sermon notes has a lot of great features. Go in there and play with it. It's great to learn, and I do love it. One note on sermon notes: if you date it to be later than the current date, they won't show up. So when you make the sermon note and you come up and do like the show settings up here, and if I date this for, wow, that's a long way away. Let's go to like December 24th. This sermon note will not show up in the people's apps until that date. So if you ever create a sermon note and post date it, people aren't going to see it. And so just keep that in the back of your mind. I don't want you to miss out on something that you're supposed to see. Push notifications. Use push notifications. Just be respectful of how people don't like being notified every 5 minutes about stuff. So there's a kind of a balance of it, right? So the first thing to note is you can just do a generic notification. Add new, come in, title, the message you want to send. If you want a web link, by the way, you can also link to Exodus chapter 1 there as well. Add an image, a link image, and send. This will go to everybody that has not turned off notifications on your app. Super helpful for Sunday morning. Church building had a pipe break or something like that, or you had to move to a new location or something. You need to pray for someone immediately. Pop that in there and then send out to everybody. The next thing after that, auto notifications. These you could turn on so that notifies users when a new post is added to your prayer wall. This will just automatically allow people to receive a prayer wall notification. Same thing with video updates and audio updates. So these are just ones that can be sent out without you even having to do anything. When something's updated, it goes to them. Scheduled is one of my favorites. So if you know that you want to send a push notification every Sunday at 9:30, reminding people that church is at 10 o'clock, because anyone who works in the church business knows that 90% of what you say in announcements is forgotten immediately. And so you got to say it a bunch of different times because you're going to get that text message on Sunday morning anyways. What time is church and where is it? You could set up a recurring scheduled push notification that goes out. Title, message, website link, image if you want. How do you want to send your notification? Recurrence rule or scheduled dates. And here you can just go through and pick the first date, which would be, let's say, Friday, and then at 12:40 p.m., and then go and add in all the dates. There's also a recurrence rule. This links out to an external web page that lets you generate a rule. That's really great. You pop it in there, and then it'll just do that until the rule runs out or you shut it off. Definitely utilize scheduled push notifications. And then finally, groups. You can create notification groups. Now, this is different than groups anywhere else you find in Tithely. These groups are just notification groups. So if I make one here and I call it teens, right? Whoops, I spelled teens wrong. Teens, put this there. Now, whenever someone downloads your app or whenever someone goes into notification settings, they'll see an option to receive teen notifications. What's great about that is if you want to send something out, but you don't want everyone in the church seeing what the teens are doing because they just don't need that push notification, you made the group. Now, whoever signed up for that group, go to add new, a new option pops up right here called filter by groups. I can check this off. And now this message is only going to those people that have signed up to receive the push notifications from the teens. And so I hope that helps kind of clarify. That's a really important way to go about sending push notifications so you don't get people, shutting off notifications. Live streams, we don't host them. You have to host it somewhere else, but you can come in every week, set up a live stream, give the source, give the title, the dates, link a sermon note, put the URL, and then from there, you can push that out. This will create a tab in your tabs menu. So you'll see Tithely Video will be in the tabs. So if you're like, where's the stinking live stream? It's in your tabs. Put it where you want to put it on a layout or just somewhere in your more menu or in the front bottom of your page. Audio and video and events. These are all really great ways to integrate your calendar, your sermons, videos, and your audio sermons that you want to bring in as well. For audio, you can manually load in one, or you can RSS feed from someplace you already have it. I encourage your RSS feed. It makes it much easier for you. Same thing. Videos, on one hand, you can't add manual videos. You can map from Vimeo or YouTube. And so if you have a Vimeo page, please keep in mind it's all or nothing. If you have a YouTube page, you can map in direct playlists, so you don't have to have everything showing up. Super important. Use our help article when doing this. It is mostly intuitive, but there's some caveats you kind of have to do to make sure it works. And we get a lot of support tickets going, how do I do this? Our help article will walk you through it, follow it step by step, and you'll be able to integrate your videos, no problem in. Events, again, you can manually add events or you can pull in an iCal. The iCal is the best way because it brings it in for you instead of having to create the events every single time, because that will take forever if you have a lot of events, especially if you're a large church. Social, this is sunsetting, so I'm just going to pass over this. We actually encourage you, if you want to bring your social media and you want to link to it, what I encourage you to do is go to tabs, come here, create a web link tab, and map that right to your Facebook page or map it to your Instagram page or whatever social media feed you want to pull in. Go in there and just link it to that, and then you put that wherever you want to put it on your app, and then people can access it that way. Don't use this. It just doesn't work great, and it's being removed. Whether they'll rebuild or not, we don't know, but we know that the one we have there isn't the best. So our best practice, use web links. That'll link your social media in a great way to your app. I'm going to go down a little further. Prayer wall, talked about this already a little bit, that you can map it inside app pages or in the layout editor. So this just lets you have a prayer wall. People come in and say, please pray for such and such. They're having surgery on this day, or whatever it may be. You could see myself, surgery there, anonymous, please pray. So you could come in and manually add in prayer requests for somebody, or on the prayer wall themselves, people can go in and click the little plus button and add in their prayers that way. One thing to note under settings, I think this is the most important settings we have in our app. New posts need approved. So what this means is that if someone requests a crazy prayer request that you don't want on your app, We all know in the political environment we live in, there's lots of stuff said over times that can be not wanting in your church culture app area or whatever it may be. There's so many things that people could say that we don't want just popping up randomly. And so by this new post needs approved, this forces it so that people who put a prayer request, it has to be approved by whatever moderator email you put here. Now, if you want to go ahead and just let everything get approved and you're fine with that, you can approve all posts automatically. If someone puts a prayer request in, it will automatically pop up. Otherwise, someone will have to come in here and approve it, or the moderator will get an email saying, hey, new prayer request, do you approve or not approve? It gives them a chance to look at it and go from there. Blogs and photos, super quick. Blogs, similar. You can RSS feed in, or you can just put in a blog yourself manually. Photos is no feed. You have to create an album and then add pictures to that album. And so add new album, give it a name, description, cover image, create. And then once you've created it, you can click into it and you'll see the images there, and you can come down in the pictures. So if I want to add images in, click this and I can upload it right from my downloads page or wherever you want to have them from. You can come in and see the picture, delete the picture, and you also can, oh, I'm choking, make that the album cover right there. So there's your photos and all that kinds of elements that you want to play with. That pretty much covers the apps. I am going to pop over to a Q&A section here, and let's see what we got for the last 15 minutes. Haley, if you want to pop you on, I can. Otherwise, you can stay down there. It's your call. Okay. Let's, excuse me, 18 publics. Okay. So, okay. All of them been answered. Wow. Okay. We're doing great here. I think everything's been answered. So can you bring in video from your live stream? And that one was answered, right? Oh, review this. Okay, cool. I got to review that one. Okay. So can you bring in video from your live stream? Scott, I don't think I fully understand the question. I'm trying to think through this. You can, so I'll show live stream a little more then. Let's just go into it real quick. So in live stream, you come in, add new, you choose your source, which in case it's going to be the app. If you live stream from your sites, you can actually connect the two and have them run simultaneously. But in this case, app, give it a title, choose whether or not it's going to repeat, but you're going to have to go in and change the link every week because the places they pull from need to be changed every week. Choose your start and end time, simulated, and then the video URL right here. So you just bring in there. I think I answered. Okay, great. Perfect. I got to answer, but you just grab your video URL from YouTube or Facebook or wherever you're hosting it, drop it right here, and that will play the video through your app. All right. Is this recorded? Yes, it's definitely recorded. Feel free to check it later. It'll be sent out in a little bit. Webinar recorded. Yes. Need to know more about kids ministry, sign in and sign out. Okay. Hey, Ray. So I know you asked that question a while ago. If you're still here, I apologize. There is no sign in kids check-in yet within our app. You can link to it inside of it and it'll pop it open, but short of that, it's not built in natively just yet. But I know that those are some of the future things that we're working on, and definitely make sure you request that in our feature request area. Does background check work for Canadian clients? Okay, so we got some questions that have nothing to do with apps. Actually, I do not know. Background checks within Ministry Save, I believe they work in Canada, but I would think that's something you got to check their website. I'm not 100% sure. I don't want to give falsified information on that one. So I'm going to let that be there. Oh, there is replies to those. Okay, good. Giving, how to insert church name on the Giving app. Okay. So if you're using the Giving app, I'll wave up there. I'm going to pull Haley up.
Hey, so this is about the Giving app and not about the church app. And so it's easily found in your Giving form settings. So that's what I'd recommend for that. And then, yeah, we were able to answer all of the public questions.
Oh, perfect.
Most people's biggest concern sounded like if they have, you know, their web stream somewhere else or their newsletter somewhere else, they're really curious about how they can get that outside link into their app. And so that's why I had you double review that extra tab. And that's basically the best way for any of you guys that asked for those extra areas where you're like, does this, you know, integrate with my app, or can I add this into my app? The best way would be using that tab that goes to a separate public web link that can happen for a newsletter that you guys want to share. And you can actually put that public link tab on your homepage and call it newsletter. That's what my church does. Or I know some of you wanted a directory. You'll have to make the directory on the outside somewhere else in a different system, and then link it using the public link in your app. So that's the best way there.
Awesome.
Um,
We got a new question here for
yeah.
prayer wall. Yeah, so anyone who's on your app does not have to be logged in. So the prayer wall, you just if it's on your homepage or if it's in a more menu wherever you happen to have it, they just click in and they can request a prayer request, which is nice. And again, that's why you want to make sure that you don't automatically pop something up because again, you're just not sure what's going to show up. So I hope that helps, Amy. Yes, that's a great question. So I'll actually add to stage. Oh, that's cool. I've actually never done that. So there we go. Add to stage for prayer wall logged in. Boom. We still have a couple more minutes. Love to answer more questions. Anyone else have any more questions that they want to have asked or answered? I guess I can ask questions, and I can also jump back in and demo anything if you want to see something again. But all right, I'm new to the app. What's the best way to learn more about it? So obviously, you can rewatch this webinar. I went that quickly. We do have a Tithely University that has great training videos. And so we'll make sure that gets sent out with the email follow up there. And Haley, if you want, if you could pop in the comments, perfect. Or respond with that. Tithely University is going to have a lot of videos. In fact, it's going to teach you a lot about all of our app and all of our other products as well. I suggest that. We have our knowledge base articles. So if you go into our knowledge base system, our help center, as we call it, and just search for apps, whole bunch of stuff will pop up there too. So we do have a lot of great resources. You can always pop in the chat bubble too if you want and just say, hey, I need some help. Any other questions that anyone wants to pop in there? I'll give you a couple more minutes and then we're going to end this. And like I said, this will be sent out in a recording. And so you'll be able to watch it again along with all the other videos we've done. And I believe it gets posted to YouTube and in our own Tithely University. So it's in a couple different areas. That's easily accessible. But, all right. Well, I know someone's typing frantically. I always hate to jump off in the last second there. So I'm going to give you like 5 more seconds. If you got a question, just type in wait and I'll give you a wait. But otherwise, we're going to shut down here. But thank you so much for joining us. We really do love from the education team here, helping our customers know our product, the best practices and the best way to use it. Haley, if you got anything to say, go for it and give us a closing thought too.
Yeah, just want to put you guys at ease. This was recorded and will be emailed to you right after. So you should expect it within the next 1 to 2 days, and you guys can always go back to reference that. So
awesome. Preview of video casting. I'm not 100% sure on that one, Mike. We don't have a video casting technology within the app at this point. If you're meaning casting the app to the phone, if your phone has that ability, you could probably cast it that way. But short of that, I don't know. Should I launch my app before publishing my new site? So if you feel your app is ready, yeah, go for it. It's going to be a great thing for people to start using and going with it. Otherwise, if you want to launch them together, you can launch them together. I just think because the app is really going to be aimed towards your members, definitely go ahead and launch it so they can get excited about it. Or you could do a soft launch, right? You could launch it to just a leadership team or a small group of people, see what they think about it, get a feel for it as you're building the site. And then when you're ready to launch everything, launch it all together that way. All right. We're going to pop out of here. Thank you guys so much for joining us. We are grateful for you. Have a great rest of your day.